I've always been dead against the white fans. I'll never go ahead even if it gets the budget. Never going to go ahead. There's no money. There's no money. There's no money at all. There's no appetite.
No brains either.
All that money on the budget then?
It went through with one vote, so it's in the budget there. But at the end of the day, they're never going to deliver the White Sands, flood prevention scheme. People at Dumfries are against it. There's a petition he was forward with Mr. Slater, and it's never going to happen. And the costs are spiralling out of cost. The council can't help.
Give us an absolute guarantee in that case.
I certainly would never vote for it personally myself. I've been dead against it.
No, I know
you know
you
that
have.
I've been against it. And I represent the
And
people of
Maureen
Dumfries.
here, our provost has been
And I represent the people of the North West Dumfries, and I know what the issue is causing.
Are you worried that they'll build a car park on the sands and then not
Green Sands.
It is important, it's important. But at the end of the day, people have spoken up, and hopefully some of the council will take
Petition.
them pointed forward.
Could then end up with a massive over-provision of car parking spaces. Because you'd have it on the White Sands and the Green Sands. It'd be crazy.
There's a car park under the ground up the high street. It's been sitting there for years empty. So
Oh,
Yes,
so why do
yes.
they not use that? They never mention that.
Yeah.
It's never mentioned.
Well-
Well, raise it, but it's never taken.
At the end of the day, when you build I'm a farmer, you build you deviate or change an area of a barn or a water course, you're pushing water from one place, you're just going to deviate it onto another place. So you're just pushing from one area to another area,
Can I ask
causing
you
a major
question,
problem.
You three councillors, have
Yeah.
you seen the report from CCA? You guys paid, we paid
Yes, that's right.
£50,000 for that report, which said that the White Sands scheme was not what to do, but was what was needed.
This is a protest regarding the save of our sands. This is the name of the councillors now, asking questions.
Was that recommendations in there from flooding experts, and you paid £50,000 for that, and you're not going to allow them to do it?
Well, that's absolutely scandalous. At the end of the day, you're a taxpayer the same as me. We should be entitled to see that.
Yeah, I've even put in a freedom of information request, and your officers have still refused to release it.
Could you go to the Information Commission
Well,
about that?
that's the next step,
Next
but
step.
that could take 6 months.
Yes.
You know? Yeah, we could do that. Anyway, it's great to see you. Thank you for coming out.
Yes, thank you
Very-
for coming
Now,
out.
can I
You're
just
welcome.
say that we invited all three political groups to come out. Labour have said no. Conservatives have said no, but Maureen says.
Wow.
Yes, and that's great. But they'll say no. So it's good that you've come out.
Yep.
And SNP just
David
haven't
as well.
replied.
Well,
you
that's
know,
fair enough.
haven't replied. So we don't know what they.
The thing is, John, this scheme is now about 15 years old. Technology's moved on.
Yeah.
I remember holding
John,
up, phone up the size of a brick.
Thanks for coming, Maureen.
And now you've got supercomputers in your pocket. And the Belgian company, you have to look at that company because they're absolutely amazing what they build. You know what they build.
Oh,
throughout
yes,
the
it
world.
could be done.
They're even going to look at parts of the Suez Canal for that type of work. And yet it's been ignored here and basically chased away, which is disgraceful.
There's other options. There are other ways of spending money if you want to tackle flooding on the river now. But we owe it to the other communities all the way up the river, from Catorno all the way down, to try and solve their flooding problems, not just the white.
95% of this sands sandy water. It's probably about 40 years.
Is that a context? There's a few folk here. Quite surprised the councillors have came out and spoke. Mike. Oh aye, anything for the action. I'm quite surprised the councillors came out and spoke there.
My house
No, we're on the joinery now. No, I'm travelling around with the UK council.
He's adamant it's not going ahead, but look, it's only in man's word, isn't it? There he is, Scotland away. Scotland away. Oh, he's got a megaphone. Feeling a bit hard done by you. Save our sons. We are the people. We are the people. Save our sons. News reporters here. Then you've got the real media. Police and the police. He's the real media. That's just your ITN news, man. You're nobody to be worried about. That's just your ITN news. This is the real media. Save our sons.
That's what that's about. It's not about parking in town, believe me.
Well,
believe me.
that was certainly how it sounded.
Right.
When it came across the radio.
Right, well I'll maybe get something out on the back of that.
Yeah, absolutely, because that sounded.
Oh, look, there's the flood.
I don't know what the other way is. Okay, well, we'll wait to see that.
I'm trying the hardest.
We need a... I know you do, I know you do.
It's just concrete,
but-
otherwise Gail and the visitors always comment on it.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm 100% with you on that. Our view, our perception is that the officers are running this case. So we're relying on you to stop them.
Feel that way inside.
Go for it then. Go for it.
They're running the council all right, John, into the grun. Running it into the grun.
Nice if they'd all come out to meet us.
Well then.
Fucking shambles their place. They're all working for him.
I'm here. Sorry.
Where do you want me to be? I don't have mind people.
Oh, here.
Save our sands.
Okay.
Well, here we go, here's an onion coming out. Coming with all the sorries under the sun.
Ladies, this is Malcolm Johnston, who is the convener of the council and a prominent Conservative. So the Conservatives have come out. We haven't seen the Labour representatives.
Have they not come to see you?
No, they've not come to see us. No. Come on, Malcolm, what you got
I'm
to
not as
say?
brave as you, Malcolm.
What have I got to say?
Are you here to apologise
Apologise for what?
Have you come to take note?
for your budget?
Well, as I've said before, I said to the Lorburn Community Council, they made the decision to progress it to the next stage. We've stuck with that.
This is
But
the
when
right
it,
chance,
aye, when it comes back, I'm expecting the figures to be horrendous, and at which point a decision's got to be made. But you know my views on this personally. It's went on for so long,
12 years.
and we're still throwing money at something which we could be spending somewhere else. I think it's
Absolutely.
absolutely
Yeah.
nonsense.
Say that again, please, Councillor John.
Sorry, I got it on camera, Pod.
But we're continuing to spend money that we could spend somewhere else on this project, which
We
we've
need
consistently
it in
voted
our high
against
street,
it.
and they're going to take the flowers away from us now.
I
Goodness
know.
sake. We can't get the litter. We need to clean up the town.
We do.
That's if you can walk up the town without tripping.
Aye, the potholes are terrible.
I mean, that's the whole thing about it as well. I mean, because I get as frustrated as anybody. You walk up the high street, you see rubbish not being picked up, and you see whatever. You know, people are trying to do their bit, I get that, but, you know, as an elected member, the level of frustration and not being able to sort these things out is ridiculous, which is why
we elected you, to sort these things out. Get in and get a grip of these officers.
And we're trying to get
Come on,
more
they're
control
running
back.
the show.
We need these people to work for us, not against
us.
Oh, it's alright. Cracking name, that's what my daughter's name is. Oh, aye.
Exactly.
Son's
I'm
called
well
Bob.
aware of that. I was elected.
They're all paid a lot of money.
I'm not there for any
Oh,
other.
hiya, how are you getting on?
Anyway, I've got this beat in the chair.
And don't shut down the gardens, because I'm telling you, we are growing leeks and tatties in those flower beds.
I think you should probably put that into reading the asset transfer.
For the nursery. Why? 2 years you haven't done the veterans garden yet.
Okay, thank you, Malcolm.
See you. Thanks, Malcolm.
Right, over to Carol. Carol Drinkwater is a member of the Community Council.
Testing, testing.
Yeah, there you go.
Can you hear me okay?
No.
Feel like a rabble rouser now holding this up. I care about the green sands. I care about nature and wildlife. It's why in July 2023, when I first became a Lawburn Community Councillor, in my very first week, I was interviewed by White Sands, representing Lawburn Community Council, interviewed by Greatest Hits Radio about the green sands and the council's objection to it, Lawburn Community Councils. It's why I pick up litter, it's why I go into the river and drag out shopping trolleys, because I care about this town, I care about the greenery that we've got. It's why I'm here today. There's 3 things that I wanted to say. First one, I wanted to talk about cuts, but not in the normal sense. I wanted to talk about the way that they say, oh, it's just a little bit of green sands, or it's just a little bit of a road, it's just one more development here, it's just a few more car parking spaces. But it's never just a few more. That's always on top of everything else that's already been taken and everything that's going to be taken in the future. If you go into the Robert Burns Centre and go into the museum, there's a lovely map of how Dumfries used to be in the 18th century when Burns was here. And you look at the green sands and it was massive. It was much bigger than the little bit that we've got left now. Over the years, that's been cut and sliced until what we've got left is what we're trying to still defend. And if they take more of it, then what's left gets denatured. Trees get their roots compacted by the parking and stuff, they die off. And eventually you've got something that's not worth defending. You've got to defend it while you can. Further, back then when it was a huge green space, the water could flood onto that and slow down. It never rushed into the town quite as much then. And then it would get soaked up by the trees and so on, and we wouldn't have such a problem that we've got now, where the water just runs straight off concrete, straight off roads, and then goes faster and higher everywhere else. The same as if the White Sands project went ahead. All it would mean is that the water would flood higher up, and it would flood lower down. So the fact that they say it's just a little bit is never true. It's always a death by 1,000 cuts, and that's a continuing process that we have to stand against. Second point I wanted to make is just about budgets. It's about the fact that they say there's no money for this, there's no money for that, and I'm sure others such as John will have a lot more to say about this than I will. But the problem is, there is enough money, but it gets wasted. It gets wasted on buildings that are bodged up so they have to be rebuilt, on money disappearing on road schemes, on recycling schemes that get cancelled, so we pay £10,000 a year, warehousing empty boxes, on bin lorries that aren't compatible with the bins that we have in Dumfries and Galloway, so they just sit there and get used for spare parts. Money is being wasted all the time, and this is another example of it, that in their budgets they might be putting forward £500,000 just to continue with progressing this scheme that was originally estimated to cost 37 million. Probably by now you're talking up to 80 million, and then the ongoing maintenance cost forever in continuing to repair it. If there was a shortage of money, we wouldn't be going ahead with stupid things like this. We'd be putting the money towards the things that the people of Dumfries want us to spend the money on. So there is enough money, and I think it's lying when they say that they need to increase council tax and at the same time cut back services. They wouldn't need to do it so much if they didn't waste money like this. Finally, democracy. I think this is an issue that so many people in Dumfries care about so much that really should have gone to the people to decide. Should have been a referendum, more than just a little consultation that doesn't mean anything. Should have been up to the people, and we've seen that again and again. In Lawburn Community Council, we had a participation request with the Green Sands project. I call it the Green Sands Destruction Project team. We have 3 representatives that go along, supposedly, to their meetings and have a say representing the people of Dumfries. We went to one meeting. I thought it went okay. A number of actions came out of it. But then after that, nothing happened. There wasn't another meeting. They didn't keep us informed. When I politely contacted them to ask, what about these actions? I'm really sorry if they have taken place, but I've not been aware of it. Can you give us an update? No response from the team that are responsible. Followed it up again, no response. Democracy? I don't think so. Then we turned it into a formal complaint. I think there's 2 formal complaints against them now. They didn't respond to those. And then eventually the person, Brian Templeton, who is one of the 2 project team, he took over the formal complaint and overruled it and said he wasn't going to deal with it because it's the same as other complaints he's had. Basically taking over complaints about his own team and throwing them out. That's not democracy either. In the last community council meeting, John might mention this, every one of the councillors there was directly asked if they'd be willing to go back to their parties and take out the budget for progressing Green Sands destruction and White Sands. Not one of them agreed to do that. Labour, Conservative, SNP. Not one of them agreed to do it. It's a shame. So what can we do? Obviously, we're here protesting. We can keep making our voices heard. We can get angry. I know I am. I know a lot of you are. We can continue to raise this issue, lobby them. We can refuse to obey. We can refuse to comply. I spoke to someone earlier that said she was going to tie herself to a tree. I fully support that. Except, you know, having lots of blankets, stay warm. So we're going to keep fighting against this, and hopefully it won't go ahead. The biggest danger is that they destroy part of Green Sands and then decide not to go ahead with White Sands. And we've lost the park for absolutely nothing. That is what we're fighting against. That's why everyone's here today. I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you for coming. I'm going to hand over to John now. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.
So I just wanted to make a quick point, and it's kind of technical, but I think it's quite important. So this, I want to make a quick point, and it's just kind of technical, but I think it's important. There's basically measurements of how high the river is. We've had 5 of the 6 highest floods ever since 2011, with the highest flood ever being Hopmanay 2022. The data that is being used to give us this 1 in 75 year wall, so that's a wall where 1 in 75 years of water comes over the top, is based on 20th century data when the river was lower, when the floods were lower. When they built a 1 in 200 year wall in Brecon, 2 years later it flooded over the wall and 3 people were killed. We need dynamic, accurate data on what we're actually building, because if we spend £80 million and get a 1 in 5 year wall, that's ridiculous. Thank you.
So, thank you, Simon. Can we do a quick picture for the BBC? Is
that all right? Is there for BBC to
Yeah, if you go on that side, and then you'll have to sort it out.
Get back in your places.
So as we were before, guys, behind here.
take it to
Rattle through the rattle.